The lightsaber, such an iconic symbol of Star Wars. If only it was nearly as powerful as it is iconic. 1 year ago, I ventured into the Force Unleashed Xbox version to beat the game without the lightsaber. Now, taking heed of two different handy suggestions, I'm focused on Force Unleashed PS2's version, a rather different version, plus doing it all without any upgrades or using the Force. I always appreciate suggestions, even when they lead to extreme pain. No upgrades mean no force upgrades, of course, but that doesn't really mean much if I can't use the force. But it also applies to not using lightsaber crystals that can improve me, and purposely avoiding the holocron upgrades that improve Starkiller's stats. I won't be counting all the unavoidable quicktime events that mainly pop up at the end of boss fights, as they're just interactive cutscenes, nor do I count traversal moments or acrobatics using the Force, as that's the only way to progress. Combat Force is what is off limits, along with any QuickTime event that can be avoided that uses the Force. With the rules explained, let's get right to wishing Starkiller invested in a blaster, or at least knew how to resolve problems with diplomacy. Kashyyyk, planet of the valiant Wookiees, now fighting for their freedom, locked in combat with the 501st and Darth Vader. Too bad for them, I'm Vader, and this slaughter merely serves as a tutorial. Vader is never in danger, and often I don't even need to block to avoid damage. Very unfortunate for the future carpets. We got this, team. Oh, well, he's dead. I got this then, team. I tried to be a good manager. I told him he got this. I don't understand what more I could have done. Hey, look, one of you lived. I will name you Bobby, and you will be my friend. Hello, Bobby. Oh, no, Bobby!
Dark Lord! Whatever you want, you won't find it here! Turn back!
You can't disguise yourself from me, Jedi.
What disguise? He's full on wearing Jedi robes! The lone Jedi I'm here to slay serves as a nice training dummy, and more importantly, teaches me that unlike the Xbox version of Zero Consequences, if I fail the boss end QTE, then the boss will heal a bit. Curse the universe giving me consequences for my failures. Even worse are consequences to your successes, as Vader is now left taking care of the Jedi's son.
Lord Vader!
They're like, oh, it's a child! Kill it! Taking care of is putting it way too nicely, but at least now that little Starkiller is grown up, he can assassinate Jedi, so that Vader can have more time to sulk. First on the chopping block is Jedi Master Coda, whose big plan was to lure Vader to him for a fight. An awful plan, made only more awful by the fact that Coda puts dozens of his own soldiers in harm's way, knowing full well that they'd be less than a minor inconvenience if Vader had been the one to show up. Starkiller at this point is nowhere near Vader's power level, and yet all the rebels might as well be toys, soon to be broken. This is doing nothing to him, but maybe if I keep doing it for 200 years, he'll die eventually of boredom.
Think, boy. I have survived much worse than this. Do you really think you can defeat me?
Yeah, you're like the first boss of the game. Wow, to think survived all these years in hiding, just to come up with the world's worst plan on how to take down Vader and get every single one of your men killed. That's amazing. That's impressive, honestly, on how stupid that was. Coda himself does show me what I will have to look forward to the whole game. I can do next to no damage, especially given how hard it is to penetrate his defense, and I'd probably have zero chance to do any worthwhile damage, if not for healing drugs that keep spawning in every couple minutes. Both Cal Kestis and Starkiller seem to rely so heavily on healing drugs, and I'm not sure what the lesson I should learn from that is. With the power of random drugs I find lying haphazardly on the ground, I can survive Coda's assault. Now, I know he's going to survive this fight, but how? In the Xbox version, he's chucked into the city's upper levels, which I can believe for his survival. This version, I fling him into space, way above the planet. Well, maybe he just believed in himself so much that it overrode reality and he floated to safety. Who knows?
This area is strictly off limits by order of the Emperor. Return to your ship immediately.
Okay, my bad. I'll return to my ship immediately. Hey, whoa, I'm following orders. What I do know is that it's time to visit the old Jedi temple, so I can train with a Force vision of a long-dead Sith. I don't know whether using a lightsaber and a shield is really dumb or really cool, but it's more fun if it's both. To be expected with wielding a large shield, the Sith's defense is annoyingly high, and I don't get many attacks through it. But I only have the one move, so there's nothing to do but keep at it until Starkiller is ready to squash this pest. That was basically just busy work so that Vader wouldn't have to bond with me father and son style, while we wait for his spies to locate another Jedi. Cause now that it's over, I'm off for more Jedi hunting. To reach Kazdan Paratus, the insane Jedi on this scrap planet, I'll need to cut my way past tons of Force-controlled droids and Rhodian pirates. Never stop swiping is my motto, and it works, even when an extra large droid comes to play the accordion with my body. After Starkiller leaves this pirate leader gasping for breath, the fella has the stupid notion to follow my trail of destruction and try to take me on. Armed with only a sword, he does do better than I expect. But 1, he's not a Force user, 2, his men died in seconds, and 3, as I said, he only has a regular sword that offers minor defense, leading to his death after 4 minutes of constant cutting. Immediately after that little boss, I come across Kazdan himself. No, he's not the galaxy's first Force-using droid, though that would be pretty cool, but he is inside the parts controlling them. I guess he must struggle with creativity on using the droid, cause he mostly just spams the exact same move over and over, no matter how ineffective it proves to be. Oh sure, it hurts, but if the game didn't glitch and refused to show me what my health was at, I wouldn't have died, as I could have just relied on the endless healing drugs to keep this wrecked body upright. For 21 minutes, I sprint in, slash, and sprint away, or I'm just flung away. But either way, I'm not in much danger. The Xbox version makes it so you can't heal unless you kill enemies, which would make it so I can never survive this dip in purgatory. But at least I would also do reasonable saber damage, I think. I could do a lot more damage in the QuickTime events, but doing so would probably use the Force, and I can't take that risk. My brain nearly does melt when I finally defeat the droid shell, and Kazdan pops out perfectly fine for phase 2 of the fight. I'm so tired of hacking endlessly away that this time I choose to risk the QuickTime event and immediately regret it when Starkiller uses the Force. I let myself die, though it takes a bit with how much Starkiller likes to naturally block. I don't understand, why are you so hesitant to let yourself be cut up, Starkiller? You're just an odd little fella. When I finally do die, that resets Kazdan's health, but the Jedi himself is the only boss actually vulnerable to saber slashes, and he falls in moments. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Then it's time for more busy work when I return to the Jedi Temple to massacre even more stormtroopers. I'm so confused why Starkiller's ship isn't shot out of the sky the moment it comes into Coruscant space, when he keeps showing up to do this. Why are troopers even stationed here anymore when it's been nearly 19 years since the death of the Jedi Order? You'd think they just demolish the building and move on, so crazy people like Starkiller don't keep showing up for a light afternoon slaughter. I discover Starkiller's pilot aka love interest Juno here, but things get weird when she keeps vanishing and I'm stuck fighting this random Sith Force vision. It's amazing that you have lightsaber skills and Force abilities. We have so much in common. Wanna go out sometime? Worst she could say is no, huh? This feels a little worse than no. Not much, admittedly, but still pretty bad. I don't know what you did with Juno, but you're gonna bring her back to me or I'll kill you. Juno! Oh, good. Is there anything more romantic than a duel in the library?
I've already won. I can smell your fear.
Oh, sorry. No, that's Axe body spray. How dare you exploit my fear of attractive women? Whatever happened to using clowns or bugs or something to scare your victims? Starkiller's fear of his feelings for judo just doesn't quite hit the same level. But she's the fear expert, I guess. Works to get me killed once at least, but by now I've learned to incorporate parry hilt hits that allow me to deal damage more consistently, even if still in pathetically minuscule amounts. Oh, the librarians are gonna be mad at me. I better book it right after this. They're my real fear. I skedaddle before any librarians catch my scent and make my way to Felucia, so I can hunt down Jedi Master Shaak Ti. Shaak Ti sends her apprentice Maris away in order to protect her, but she has a bunch of the natives fight me, knowing that they'll stand zero chance against me. What is it with these Jedi and their total disregard for everyone trying to help them? At least she sends Rancors to help out, but there's surprisingly not much trouble. More annoying when they whack me around, but it's not hard to stay between their legs, and they are far more vulnerable to lightsaber strikes than any other mini-boss I come across. If only there weren't so many of them. Maybe they won't notice me. I really should stop wearing Axe body spray. Aha, health. Ow. Guys, I care about you more than the Jedi care about you. That's why I'm jumping over you. I'm not a sicko who's just gonna kill you just because I can. I'm gonna let you die from disease and starvation, like a good person.
Welcome to the ancient abyss, a place of sacrifice since time immemorial.
I don't even know what that word means. Oh. We didn't have to sacrifice your bro. He was just your friendly little mount. Are you sure you're the good guy? Reaching Shaak Ti takes very little time, and our battle doesn't last long either. I sure wish she wouldn't keep trying to heal, but at least she doesn't deal much damage, nor have a very strong defense, so it evens out. It's still a 13-minute fight of just endless chopping away, but after that Kazdan fight, this feels like a night and day difference. And not just because it was literally night with Kazdan and day with Shaak Ti, though that might have been part of it. Having conquered all 3 Jedi adversaries, Starkiller gets to be rewarded. Oh no. I was 2 weeks from retirement.
You have forgotten your place, Lord Vader.
And you forgot your moisturizer, old man. Now here's the question I'll have to wonder forever. Did Darth Vader sink 10 plus years into training an assassin to kill 3 people he easily could have killed himself, with the intention of someday using Starkiller to assassinate the Emperor until the Emperor finds out? Then he just gives up on that plan for good and does whatever the Emperor wants? Or did he truly never intend to use Starkiller to kill the Emperor? I don't mean to criticize the guy, but either way, that's both a massive time sink and a huge danger to himself, that he's created a weapon of mass destruction that he was going to use to do a bunch of jobs he could have done himself, or his spies could have done, before trying to dispose of said weapon. So basically, I don't mean to criticize Vader, but it can't be helped. Maybe he just wanted to be a papa. Okay, got a little distracted with that wondering, but since Vader saved us after pretending to kill us, we can carry out the genius plan of building the rebellion up so that the Empire can crush them. Surely nothing can go wrong with that plan. Oh yeah, that felt safe. There was an off button like 3 feet away, man. Always with the drama. On Nar Shaddaa, I look for Coda to train me, and of course Starkiller, the man trained to be a stealth assassin, and told he needs to stay hidden, insists immediately on getting into a massive bar fight. Brilliant.
There he is.
Oh no, stormtroopers. However, did they hear about the guy terrorizing the Undercity with a lightsaber, and not being subtle at all about it? Like most bar fights though, it's short and sweet, and the only real trouble's when the much cooler looking Shadow Guard shows up to hassle me for a bit. Then I can grab Coda and head for the 3rd time to the Jedi Temple. I love that the troopers are ready and waiting this time around, and I also love that from their perspective, this insane, raging Force user stranger keeps popping up, murdering everyone so that he can just leave and do it again a few days later for absolutely no reason. They have zero clue why he's doing this, and I, for one, find that hilarious. This time, the Force Vision is not a Sith that absolutely has zero ties to Starkiller, but the Jedi Papa. Hang on, before we continue our fight, I have to do something. I need to break these seats. It'll make Vader happy when he learns I've destroyed all the seats on the Jedi Council. Nobody will ever tell him to take a seat again. Nothing like never being around my entire life and then showing up to kill me. Not really winning any Dad of the Year awards, are you? Please don't kill me. I have a family. Oh wait, you are that family. Please, Papa, no! Am I playing chase with my dad? Oh, this is such a bonding experience. And now we're playing catch. This is so cute. Heading to Kashyyyk to rescue Leia Organa from the Empire, I experience plenty of pain as I'm stomped on by a regular ATST that's trouble enough only to be met by an ATST on steroids right after. Even worse is that this boss ATST has shields to really extend how long I'm stuck here, and I can't put out enough damage to break them. Thankfully, the ATST can, though it does put me at risk, sometimes a tad too much risk. 20 minutes of swinging my blades and doing nearly no damage can damage the psyche, but my mind went bonkers so long ago that we're not in danger of that. What would win? A lightsaber, a weapon that can cut it through practically anything, or a blade made out of bone? Somehow the blade made out of bone is stopping me. How's that work? Returning to Felucia, I have to deal with the consequences of murdering Shaak Ti as her apprentice runs wild and has kidnapped Senator Bail Organa. I need the good senator, and I'm glad all the enemies here are easy to slice through, but I'm far less glad upon reaching Organa when I'm confronted by the most monstrous of all the Rancors. The Rancor does take nice damage from the saber, which, yay! But I can barely land a hit without going flying. I'm obviously meant to avoid the beast at all costs, but that ain't happening, so instead I'm flung on repeat into the dirt. It doesn't even feel like the Rancor's actually hitting me, and it's just his sheer aura that's knocking me back. How is he able to turn on such a swivel like this is the real wonder. Thank the Force for all these random healing drugs. Okay, it looks like your gums are bleeding. You haven't flossed, have you? I can tell. Is it possible to sue your past self for coming up with terrible ideas? Because I'm gonna do it. I'm just getting those cavities out. Don't worry. I'm just taking care of all the cavities in one go. Another patient cured. Only for that to lead right into a second boss fight with Maris. Now my saber doesn't do much, and her defense is strong, so it's time for another long slugfest. At least I realize if I try to strike her from the side and not straight on, I'm much more likely to penetrate her defense and land a hit. Still slow, but anything that speeds the process up just a tiny bit is a blessing.
Remember that I, too, was forced to leave behind everything I've ever known. Please, don't make me leave another life behind.
Wow, way to guilt me. I'm just trying to destroy a rebellion. Come on, can't the guy have hobbies? Keeping up my journey on Memory Road, I return to the Scrap Planet so that I can slaughter huge groups of Imperials. The last two planets went by in a breeze, minus the extremely lengthy boss fights, but Raxus Prime is another matter. There's oh so many Imperials, and their armor is getting better and better. Plus, they have healers as well now, so they're a lot less willing to die. I know, super uncool of them. Add on to that, when building this factory, they just said copy-paste for every room, and add dozens of Imperials to each of those rooms, plus barriers every little bit, so I can't try and zoom past all the slog. Can you stop teleporting, please? It's not supposed to be one of your tricks. Basically, this return trip is the worst, especially when it ends in another fight with the same boss of the Shadow Guard in his slow battle. Doesn't help how much the guard likes to become invincible, so he can swirl a bunch of objects around and send them flying. It makes for a pretty show, but absolutely worthless in combat except for slowing it down. Xbox version, I got to fight Proxy, who assumed a bunch of different forms, including Darth Maul, and then I got to tear down a Star Destroyer. This version has no Proxy fight, and the Star Destroyer is torn down in a cutscene. Plus, to really rub in the pain, the game gives me a crystal as a reward that greatly increases my lightsaber damage, but I'm not allowed to use it. Is this the suffering Yoda warns leads to the dark side? 'Cause I get it now. To be honest, at this point, I settled on the idea that despite popular opinion saying otherwise, the PS2 version definitely feels more subpar compared to the Xbox version, although who knows how much these challenges muddy that. And then I come across the next level of Cloud City, and my mind is somewhat changed. This level doesn't exist in the Xbox version, and it's full of super cool alien outlaws and Mandalorians for me to battle. Nowhere I go is ever a happy place, is it? But I suppose that's to be expected in something called Star Wars. The fighting is not easy whatsoever to the axe-wielding aliens, but if I keep swiping and constantly switching targets, I can die, but still produce lots of punishment before then and after then. The Xbox levels have been much more fleshed out than the PS2's version until this level, as it keeps going on and on unexpectedly. I have no idea why I'm here or what it is I'm really doing, but I don't think the game cares. I think the game's like, hey, you want a chance to kill Mandalorians? Go at it. Works with me. There's supposed to be one more Mandalorian, but I don't think he got the memo. Where is the guy? Really? Really, that's where he is? This is just my luck. Either he's trapped up there, or just hear me out. Maybe he's a shadow. Maybe it's like a Peter Pan thing. I don't know what's more impressive. Starkiller's stamina and being able to swing his lightsaber over and over and over again? Or my stamina and just pressing the button over and over and over again? I'd say it's about even. I mean, sure, I don't use the Force for anything, but I still don't want the upgrade. Maybe if I just stand on the side. Ah, I didn't ask for that. I'm pit against, of all things, a Gungan warrior and two of the coolest looking droids I've ever seen. Too bad I gotta scrap them. But at least both them and their boss fall easily. That boss fight is just a precursor to another boss fight with the Mandalorian leader. Oh, you are cool. I mean, it's painful, but I love the look. I hate you a lot, but I love the look. I thought it bad enough that I had to fight him and his jetpack units who had way too much health. But then he pops in with a super-sized droid mount, and I cry a little to myself. Unexpectedly, the universe has mercy on me when the droid glitches and never fights back. Some people might be like, hey, I wanted an epic boss fight. You know, I don't blame them for that, but I'm good with not getting shot. So how about those Mets, guy? This is the top-tier gameplay I know you all came to see. I'm extra glad that I took advantage of that glitch, because the fight is still not over as the leader survives all of this. At this point, I don't attack nearly as much as I parry hit, as that seems to be the fastest and most consistent way to deal damage. With the Mandalorian bested, I can recruit the last of the rebels so that we can all immediately be ambushed by Vader. Starkiller is left in the cold to die, while the rebels are taken away to the Death Star to be killed. Good thing the Emperor takes his time in doing that, so that Starkiller has more than enough time to smash through the Death Star defenses and reach them. Which is really saying something, cause here's where the game waited to unleash all the difficulty.
Fire now!
I can make it. I couldn't make it. Up to this point, I had died only about 11 times thanks to the copious amount of healing drugs. But that's good, since this truly has been a real challenge of patience. I'll die 10 more times though to this level alone, as the game rarely gives any more healing on this level, but provides tons of Imperials to fight, all who have stellar armor and refuse to die, despite many being basic stormtroopers. My sabers are practically useless, and the troopers' numbers feel endless. It's a good thing the checkpoints are so giving and don't seem to heal the troopers back up, oddly enough. Add on to that the grand power of deflecting bolts right back at these dummies, and I can go cry as an ATST stomps me. But get past that as well, and it's time to fight Vader and free myself from this less than ideal father-son relationship. Life could be a dream, life could be a dream, but I'm stuck here in this nightmare and I wish to blow up.
This ends now!
You will never defeat me.
That's not what the script says. Oh, he's bald! Bald! I gotta get out of here. Nobody told me I was fighting a bald dude. In all these years, I thought you had hair under there? Listen, it's okay. It's perfectly natural to be bald. It's less natural to be a psycho genocidal murderer. But we'll work through these issues in therapy. Years and years and years of therapy. Vader is, well, he's actually so much easier than all his troopers were, with my parrying and side slashing really working out in my favor. It's only a 12-minute fight to bring down the Dark Lord, and here's where I make the biggest mistake of the challenge. I'm given the choice to finish off Vader in one last battle, or save Coda from death by Palpatine. Like a heroic fool, I throw myself into battle with Palps, and boy do I live to regret it. I thought the ultimate weapon against Palpatine was to hold my lightsaber up and let his lightning kill himself. But I guess since I'm not all the Jedi, or as cool as Mace Windu, that tactic doesn't work, oddly enough. Maybe if I had a second saber. Regardless, that really troubles me as Palpatine's defense is near perfect, and his offense is amazingly strong. 2 healing drugs pop in every couple of minutes, and without them, I'd never survive. If I'm not careful about blocking, I still die. Who could have guessed going after one of the most powerful Force users ever and not the near-dead cyborg would have negative consequences? Attacking Palpatine will cause a QuickTime event to pop up often, which ends with me getting electrocuted since I can't fight back for fear of using the Force. Once I realize the danger of this though and minimize attacking, using only my parry hilt strike and the occasional properly timed strike, I can barely keep from dying. I know the game is called Force Unleashed, and I'm supposed to be letting loose with the Force. But did the game have to nerf the lightsabers this hard? There's no difficulty setting in this version, so the sabers are naturally weak. I'm convinced Starkiller was given training sabers that aren't meant to kill anyone, as a way to keep him in control, and while that's a cool image of him winning anyway, it still hurts to use. Pushing on, I finally lowered Darth Sidious's health just enough to start the QuickTime event, and yet I'm not quick enough, failing the QuickTime event and leading to Papa Palp's healing. The suffering never ceases! So I try again, and after a few more minutes of fighting, I fail the QuickTime event again. But finally, the 4th try, after 42 minutes of fighting, I'm focused and prepared, desperate to land the timing, and I finally succeed at the QTE and bring Palpatine down. Well, I did win, but Starkiller is too dangerous to be left alive. Dangerous to the canon, that is, and so the game ends with his noble sacrifice. Maybe odd to say when looking at my corpse, but huzzah! After 8 hours, 9 minutes, and 21 deaths, I've beaten the Force Unleashed without the Force and without any upgrades. Despite the overall low death count, this proved to be a brutal challenge of patience. And so, thanks again for the recommendations to ensure my pain. I thank you all for watching and truly hope you enjoyed. With Starkiller dead, there's an opening for Heroic Jedi. I'm neither heroic nor a Jedi, but I found these sabers laying about, so might as well try and see how long before I accidentally cut my own tail off. Move over, Luke Skywalker. It's time for Shenanaloon Skywalker to save the galaxy. or destroy it accidentally. Take care, my friends.